Philadelphia, get ready, because we got a situation brewing in the city of brotherly love, and it's one that could shake up the Eagles' entire season. Let me ask you this. What's scarier than Tom Brady in a 2-minute drill? For the Eagles right now, it might just be the idea of facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a banged-up secondary. Yes, you heard that right. Philadelphia is staring down a nightmare scenario in its defensive backfield heading into a pivotal Week 4 showdown. Now, let's set the stage. Coming off a gutsy win over the Los Angeles Rams, the birds should be flying high. Lane Johnson's injury was the main cloud hanging over that victory. But now, things just got a whole lot darker. Reports from 6 ABC's Jason Dumas confirmed that cornerbacks Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett are both dealing with injuries and could miss the upcoming clash with Tampa Bay. Jackson reportedly tweaked his groin in the third quarter against LA, while Bennett's status remains a mystery. What's clear is that the Eagles' depth at cornerback is suddenly thinner than cheesesteak grease on a South Philly sidewalk. So, what does this mean for the Eagles? Let's break it down. Jackson, in just 3 games this season, has racked up 13 tackles and 2 pass deflections. Solid numbers for a guy settling into his role. Bennett, meanwhile, has chipped in 6 tackles and 1 deflection, showing promise as a depth piece. Losing both at the same time? That's a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare, especially when the next opponent is a Buccaneers team that has historically had Philadelphia's number. In fact, the Eagles have dropped 6 of their last 7 meetings against Tampa Bay, dating all the way back to 2015. Yeah, not a fun stat to digest. Now, with Jackson and Bennett likely sidelined, it's next man up, and the spotlight swings directly onto 2 names, rookie Mac McWilliams and second-year corner Khalil Ringo. McWilliams, a young, untested corner, could be making his very first career start under bright lights. Talk about being thrown into the fire. Then there's Ringo, who was once projected as a CB2 coming out of camp, but faltered during preseason, losing his spot to Jackson. He's got the athleticism, the length, and the college pedigree from Georgia, but the NFL isn't exactly forgiving, especially not when you're asked to cover speedsters on the outside. And let's not forget, the Buccaneers may not have Tom Brady anymore, but Baker Mayfield and company have quietly built an efficient passing game. With Mike Evans still playing like a man who refuses to age, and Chris Godwin stretching defenses, this is not the kind of matchup where you want your secondary to be learning on the fly. The margin for error? Razor thin. Defensive coordinator Sean Desai, or as Eagles fans love to say, the mad scientist in the booth, now has to piece together a game plan that hides the weaknesses and maximizes what little experience he has left at corner. Expect more safety help over the top, disguised as a confused Mayfield, and perhaps even an increased role for nickel corner Vonnie Maddox, sliding into different spots to balance coverage. The Birds' defensive line will also have to step up with Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, and Hasten Reddick. Philadelphia has one of the league's most disruptive fronts. If they can pressure Mayfield, collapse the pocket, and force quick throws, maybe, just maybe, they can keep the secondary from being exposed. Let's rewind for a little perspective. This isn't the first time the Eagles have dealt with adversity in the secondary. Fans might remember the 2019 season, when the team cycled through corners faster than the Wawa line moves during a lunch rush. Back then, we saw guys like Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones thrust into starting roles, and while the results weren't always pretty, the Birds clawed their way to the playoffs. Philadelphia is a city built on resilience, and this Eagles team has always mirrored that toughness. Now, let's sprinkle in some trivia for the die-hard fans. Did you know the Eagles' last victory over Buccaneers came in 2021? A regular season clash where Jalen Hurts showcases mobility? But since then, it's been Tampa's show, including that painful playoff loss in January 2022. That sting hasn't gone away for Philly fans, and Sunday offers a shot at revenge, though it's looking more like David versus Goliath if the secondary can't hold up. Speaking of Jalen Hurts, let's not overlook the offensive side of the ball. Hurts has been steady. A.J. Brown remains a monster on the outside, and Devonta Smith continues to prove why he's one of the smoothest route runners in the game. But with defensive uncertainties, the offense may have to carry more of the load. Expect a heavier dose of the run game behind that still dominant offensive line, even without Lane Johnson. And don't be surprised if Nick Sirianni dials up some tempo early to get the Bucs defense off balance. Let's throw in a couple of fictional but realistic quotes to paint the picture. Imagine McWilliams, the rookie corner, standing in front of his locker midweek, saying, "Look, I know I'm young. I know I haven't played in a big game like this yet. But this is why you come to Philly. You want the challenge. You want to show you belong. If it's my turn, I'm ready to step up for this city." That's the kind of mindset Eagles fans live for. And here's Sirianni addressing the media with his trademark fire. Injuries happen. That's the NFL. What matters is how we respond. I believe in our guys. I believe in our depth. And I believe we're going to fight like hell on Sunday. Looking ahead, what are the implications? If the Eagles can pull this off, it sends a message to the league. Even shorthanded, they're contenders. But if the secondary gets torched and Tampa Bay comes away with a win, it could expose a blueprint for how to attack this defense moving forward. It also forces GM Howie Roseman's hand. Does he make a roster move, bring in a veteran free agent, or lean on the practice squad call-ups like Perry Nickerson, who made a splash with that preseason interception against the Jets? Decisions. In the end, this game isn't just about wins and losses. It's about identity. The Eagles have built themselves on grit, on overcoming odds, on proving doubters wrong. And with the NFC East always looming, Dallas, New York, Washington, you can't afford to let winnable games slip away. So here's the bottom line. The secondary may be battered, the challenge may be tall, but the fight is far from over. Philadelphia fans know this team thrives when its back is against the wall. The Link may not be hosting this one, but you better believe Fly, Eagles Fly will echo in living rooms and sports bars across the country come kickoff. Don't blink, Eagles fans, because Sunday could be the kind of game we look back on as a turning point. Stick with us, follow along, and as always, go Birds.